My name is Larry Underwood, and I'm 74 years old. I'm retired right now, but I started out right out of high school. I went to, my dad always told me, he said, stay out the mill, that he killed his dad. So I just wanted a job right fresh out of high school. I went to Pittsburgh Hospital and I became an orderly. And I got teased about it because the steel workers, they were making big money and they were looking down their nose at people. I didn't feel sorry for them. But anywho, I was in New York, Philly, just running around, and I got drafted. So I got drafted and went to basic training at Fort Jackson, and everybody was getting orders for infantry during the non period. So those that our names were called Fort Sam. We didn't know what. I mean, it was better than infantry. So we was Fort Sam. So we went and looked up and saw Army Medical School medics. So I went there and graduated from there and everything. And I got stationed out in Dugway, Utah, Army Nerve Gas Center. And my cousin comes to me, Cassandra, and she asked me that I want to be an ambulance driver. I said, okay. So she was a, she was good friends with Mr. Holland, and I went down to took a little test, and I come back. He said I flunked the test. So he said, "Didn't you read the book?" I said, "What book?" You got to realize emergency medicine was brand new at the time. Even doctors didn't know CPR. But I said, "What book?" So he gave me the book, studied the book, passed the test. And I became a member of Freedom House Ambulance. Well, I never did drive. I'd ride shotgun most of the time and I'd be back with the patient. I'd be giving a cure. When we first arrived on the scene, when we assessed what the problem was, then the driver was driving, I would be in the back with the patient, giving whatever care needed at the time. It could be anything. We had gunshot wounds, we had stabbings, we had heart attacks, we had a lot of different things. So just, follow your ABCs. Sure you heard them say that a lot, you know, airway breathing, circulation, So if wounds needed treated, then we treated the wounds, direct pressure. Basically, was to get them to the hospital as quick as possible. And we had great drivers. You come in the morning, they give you an assignment, and pair you up with somebody, and there never was any conflict or as, oh, I don't want to work with him. None of that ever. Whoever they paired you up with, me and George McCary, we became very good friends, and we worked a lot together. And then they worked us up, and whoever to see any job, they see you getting along with somebody real good. They don't like that. They'll break that up. Anyway, there's no problem because they'll put you with anybody and then you go 8 hours with them. And everybody had different personalities, of course. So you never ever question. You learn them, they learn you. We were resented. There was a judge, he couldn't stand us. Even when there was a different cases, pretty much had to go down there, he would stop the court and chastise Freedom House for making all that noise down through I can't call his name right now, but he couldn't stand us. That's Elmer Hillary. I was on that call. Me and a guy named JB. Most of these guys are gone now. Uh, it was me and JB, and we got called up to the hill, and we went up there. This lady was a beast, and the house was packed with furniture. And I made a mistake, and I worked on a stiff one. Once I started, I couldn't stop because the daughter was here, and I made a rookie mistake. So I had to work all the way from downtown all the way up to President. I said, you know what? I'm not going to make that mistake. So when I went and checked her eyes and dilated, I didn't think she was living, and I said, she's gone, HB. When I said that, her jaw dropped like that, as if to say, I'm not gone. So I said, oh, what? Let's go. I said, call the office, tell them we need more ambulance. There's a big lady up here. We need help. And so two or three more, another couple of ambulance come. And me and JB, we started CPR on it right there. We was working. So Walt Brown, he's a good friend of mine. He's no longer with us. Walt came, a couple other ambulance. We would push the furniture out the way. We'd bring her down with the flat gurney, the canvas gurney. We had that. That's very helpful for us tight spot. So we was coming down the steps, heavy lady, and we brought her down. We got her to down to Presby emergency room, and I didn't know it at the time, but her name was Elmer Hillary, and they named the clinic after her. She was the head of the George Washington Carver Research in Pittsburgh. She was well to do, but she back stay in the Hill District. Yeah, well, she could have lived anywhere she wanted. But she was like dedicated. Now, Elmer Hillary was a very important lady at the time. I didn't know she was in a pain. But the next day she passed away. And I felt so good, and I still feel good about it because we did our job. We got her there, and she lived overnight until the next day that she passed away. When she passed away, they came down because they probably thought, oh, just another black lady, you know. They didn't, so they come down to higher up doctors wanting to know what this done, that done, why wasn't this done, wasn't that done. Very important lady. I'm very proud of that one. I look back, I said, did our job, we got her here. Yeah, now. That's the one I'm particularly proud of. Well, I had a boss. She was just like my mother, and her name was Betty Craig. And I was in um, I was in geriatric care at the time, but psychiatry was something you didn't have to get in a white uniform, just wear your regular clothes, just to blend in the psych patient. So I got over at this psych buildings, not working in the psych building. Betty Craig came over, and she was working at the YN. And so Betty was getting her own floor. And they knew I had a, well, some of them knew that I was a Freedom House guy. And Betty Cray, when she formed her floor, wanted me over there with her because she said, Larry's my medical expert. And she made sure I went on all boat rides, all bus trips, and everything. She would give me that props. She would say, well, I got Larry, he's a medical expert, emergency medical expert or something. Yeah, so it carried over. I went on every bus ride, every boat trip, everything, you know. And then certain times, certain things happen on the ward where on one particular uh, instant, there's a patient, he was in the treatment room, and he was in a chair, and he was purple. And so they always called me, Larry, 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 you know. So I went down there, so I looked, pulled him out the chair. I said, just wait a minute. Put him on the ground, opened his airway up. I said, just hold on, just hold on. Next thing you know, his color came back. He was fine. They had him in a chair. His airway was closed. First thing I'm gonna do is pull you off the bed. I'm gonna pull you on something hard. I'm gonna put you on something level. That carried over. But there was RNs in there that didn't know anything. And I said, well, just hold on. I put him on the floor, opened his airway up. They was like, oh. But I said, just wait, just wait. And then next thing you know, his color came back. Breathing was fine. Just because his airway was closed. So yeah, it carried over a lot.